Have you ever noticed how people take for granted what's always available? The more you give, the more they expect. The more present you are, the less they appreciate. But what happens when you step back? What happens when you stop overextending, overexplaining, and overproving yourself? You see, value isn't determined by how much you give. It's determined by how much is missed when you're gone. The best brands, the greatest leaders, and the most respected individuals all have one thing in common. They don't chase validation. They create such an impact that when they step away, their absence is felt. Today, I want to challenge you. Stop forcing yourself into places where you're undervalued. Stop proving your worth to those who don't recognize it. Instead, raise your value by giving people the opportunity to miss you. Because the moment they do, they'll finally understand what they had. Imagine a rare diamond locked away in a vault, unavailable to just anyone. Its scarcity makes it more desirable. Now, compare that to something easily accessible, something anyone can grab at any time, its value diminishes. The same principle applies to people. When you are always available, always saying yes, always showing up, no matter how you're treated, people begin to take you for granted. They assume you'll always be there. Think about the people in your life who command the most respect. Are they the ones who are constantly seeking approval, always giving more than they receive? Or are they the ones who are intentional with their time, selective with their energy, and clear about their worth? When someone is always present, their presence becomes expected rather than appreciated. And the human mind craves what it cannot easily have. This is why limited edition products sell out instantly. This is why people chase after things that seem out of reach. When you make yourself too available, you remove the sense of exclusivity that naturally builds desire and respect. It's not about playing games or manipulating people. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are valuable. People need to feel the absence of something to understand its importance. When you step back, when you stop giving unlimited access to everyone, you create space for others to reflect on what you bring to their lives. You give them a chance to realize what it feels like without your constant presence. When something isn't always within reach, it forces people to recognize its significance. Your worth doesn't decrease by stepping back, it increases. It forces people to either appreciate you more or reveal their true indifference. Either way, you gain clarity. When you constantly explain yourself, defend your choices, and seek validation from others, you unknowingly lower your own value. People who know their worth don't overexplain. They let their actions speak. They understand that not everyone is entitled to a detailed justification of their decisions. The more you explain, the more you invite doubt, questioning, and even manipulation from those who may not have your best interests at heart. Consider the most respected leaders, thinkers, and innovators. They don't waste time convincing others of their value. They simply embody it. They don't argue about why they deserve respect. They command it through their actions, their results, and their consistency. When someone repeatedly explains themselves, it signals uncertainty, and uncertainty is often mistaken for weakness. When you set a boundary, when you make a decision, or when you choose a path that aligns with your goals, do so with confidence. You don't need to justify why you are focusing on yourself, why you are saying no, or why you are changing directions. Those who truly respect you won't demand an explanation, and those who do are often the ones who never truly valued you in the first place. Your worth is not up for debate. The moment you stop over-explaining is the moment you take back control. You show people that you trust yourself, that you believe in your own decisions, and that you are not seeking permission to live life on your terms. Silence is powerful. A confident decision followed by quiet certainty speaks louder than 1,000 words of justification. When you learn to stop over-explaining, you not only raise your value in the eyes of others, but more importantly, in your own. When something is always within reach, it's easy to take it for granted. But when it's suddenly absent, its value becomes clear. This is why distance creates appreciation. People don't always recognize what they have until it's no longer readily available. It's not about being manipulative. It's about understanding human nature. Pelsa, think about the relationships in your life. The ones where you were always available, always giving, always showing up without hesitation. How often do those people truly appreciate your presence? Now, think about the times you pulled back, focused on yourself, and stopped overextending. What happened? More often than not, people started noticing your absence. They started remembering what you brought to their lives. When you are constantly present, people become desensitized to your value. It's why some of the closest relationships fall into complacency. It's why companies that flood the market with their products lose exclusivity. It's why celebrities who step away from the public eye create more intrigue when they finally reappear. Distance forces people to reflect on what they may have taken for granted. This applies not just to relationships, but to every area of life. Employers don't always see the effort of their hardest working employees until they leave. Friends don't always appreciate loyalty until it's gone. Even in personal growth, stepping away from the noise allows you to see your own worth more clearly. Creating distance doesn't mean cutting people off. It means allowing space for appreciation to develop naturally. It means giving people the opportunity to miss you, to recognize what you bring, and to make the effort to keep you in their lives. If they don't, you have your answer. And if they do, you've raised your value simply by stepping back. Raising your value starts with setting higher standards. The way people treat you is often a reflection of what you allow. If you constantly tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, or half-hearted effort from others, you are teaching them that it's acceptable. But the moment you raise your standards, everything changes. Think about the most successful people. They don't settle for mediocrity, whether in relationships, work, or personal growth. They don't beg for attention or chase after people who don't value them. They set expectations for how they should be treated, and those who don't meet those expectations simply don't get access to them. They understand that their time, energy, and presence are valuable, and they don't waste them on people or situations that don't align with their standards. The key to setting higher standards is recognizing that it's not about arrogance, it's about self-respect. When you value yourself enough to demand more, the right people will rise to meet you. The wrong ones will fall away. And that's exactly how it should be. If someone only stays in your life when you lower your standards, they were never meant to be there in the first place. Setting higher standards also applies to your personal development. Are you holding yourself accountable for your goals? Are you pushing yourself to grow, or are you settling for comfort? The way you treat yourself sets the tone for how others treat you. If you constantly break promises to yourself, why would others take your commitments seriously? If you don't invest in your own growth, why would anyone else see your potential? Your value isn't just determined by how others see you, it's shaped by what you accept and what you reject. The higher your standards, the greater your worth. Your energy is one of the most valuable resources you have, yet too often it is given away too freely. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to you. The more you spread yourself thin, the less impactful you become. The people who drain you, the conversations that lead nowhere, the situations that leave you exhausted, these are all things that take away from your ability to grow and thrive. Look at the most successful, fulfilled individuals. They are intentional about where they invest their time and energy. They don't entertain meaningless drama. They don't overextend themselves for people who wouldn't do the same in return. They understand that their energy fuels their progress and they guard it fiercely. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you are saying no to something that does. Being selective with your energy means learning to recognize what deserves your attention and what doesn't. It means understanding that not every argument is worth engaging in, not every relationship deserves saving, and not every opportunity is meant for you. The moment you stop trying to please everyone is the moment you start protecting your value. Some people will only take from you because they know you'll give. Some situations will only drain you because you allow them to. When you become intentional about who and what gets access to you, you shift from being controlled by others to being in control of yourself. You no longer feel the need to prove your worth because your presence itself becomes proof of it. The right people will respect your boundaries, and the wrong ones will fall away. Either way, you create space for what truly matters. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you have. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, where people overshare, overexplain, and overjustify, silence stands out. It commands attention. It forces people to wonder. It makes them reflect. When you respond to disrespect, doubt, or manipulation with silence, you shift the power dynamic. You show that you do not need to explain yourself, defend your worth, or seek value. Think about the moments in life when silence speaks louder than words. A leader who pauses before speaking commands more respect than one who fills every second with noise. A person who walks away from an argument instead of engaging in endless debates maintains control. A friend who distances themselves instead of begging for appreciation leaves a stronger message. Silence forces people to sit with their thoughts, to recognize the weight of their actions, and to confront the reality they may have ignored. Silence is also a test. It reveals who genuinely values you. When you stop initiating, when you stop chasing, when you stop making yourself too available, you see who actually makes the effort. If someone only notices your absence, but never acts on it, they were never truly invested. If they feel your silence, but don't reach out, they have made their priorities clear. Using silence effectively is not about playing games. It's about knowing when words are unnecessary. It's about understanding that you don't need to explain your decisions to everyone. It's about showing that your time, your presence, and your energy are valuable. Those who respect you will notice, and those who don't will fade away. Either way, silence gives you the clarity to see who truly values you. Personal growth is the foundation of raising your value. When you invest in yourself, your skills, your mindset, your health, you not only become better at what you do, but you also become someone who commands respect. You stop waiting for others to validate your worth and begin proving it to yourself through consistent effort. The more you develop yourself, the more you elevate your value in the eyes of those around you. But personal growth isn't just about external achievements. It's about cultivating self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and resilience. It's about learning to recognize your strengths and weaknesses and working to improve them. The more you focus on your own growth, the less you'll tolerate situations or people that don't align with your vision. When you make growth a priority, you automatically raise your standards. You start to realize that your time and energy are too valuable to waste on things that don't contribute to your progress. You stop seeking approval from others because you've already approved of yourself. The best part, as you grow, you naturally attract people and opportunities that align with your elevated self. But remember, growth doesn't happen overnight. It's a continuous process, an investment that pays dividends over time. The more you invest in yourself, the more valuable you become. You begin to radiate confidence, knowledge, and clarity. You stop chasing after recognition because it will start following you. When you're focused on personal growth, you become unstoppable and your value increases exponentially. Respect is not something you can demand from others, but it is something you can earn by how you treat yourself. When you demonstrate self-respect, you set the tone for how others treat you. If you constantly settle for less than you deserve, if you allow people to treat you poorly or disrespect your boundaries, you are teaching them that this behavior is acceptable. But when you stand firm in your worth, when you refuse to tolerate disrespect, you raise your value in the eyes of others. Self-respect begins with knowing who you are and what you stand for. It means honoring your own boundaries, values, and needs, even when it's difficult. When you respect yourself, you stop seeking validation from others because you no longer need their approval to feel good about who you are. You understand that your worth is intrinsic. It's not dependent on external factors or how others perceive you. By respecting yourself, you also teach others how to treat you. People who truly value you will respect your boundaries, appreciate your time, and honor your needs. Those who don't will either rise to meet your standards or fall away. And when they fall away, you're left with only the people who genuinely value you, making room for more fulfilling relationships and experiences. Respecting yourself also means holding yourself accountable. It means showing up for yourself even when no one else is watching, doing the hard work to become the person you want to be. The more you respect your own growth and development, the more others will begin to respect you as well. Self-respect is the foundation of raising your value. Because when you honor yourself, others have no choice but to do the same. When you are constantly available, your presence becomes expected, not valued. The key is to make your presence feel like a privilege. This means being mindful of where you invest your time, energy, and attention. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to you, and the more you give without boundaries, the less people appreciate what you offer. Think about the moments when someone's presence truly meant something. It wasn't when they were always around, always at your disposal. It was when they chose to show up at the right moment, when their time was precious and when their input was meaningful. They didn't need to be around all the time to make an impact. Their presence was powerful because it was rare, intentional, and valued. To make your presence a privilege, you need to be intentional about when and where you show up. This doesn't mean you should isolate yourself or never be there for others, but it does mean you should be selective. Your time and energy are valuable, and giving them away too easily devalues them. The right people will recognize the privilege of having access to you and will treat you with the respect you deserve. By making your presence feel like a privilege, you create a sense of exclusivity. People will begin to appreciate you more, and they will make an effort to value your time, your thoughts, and your company. You raise your own value when you show that your presence is something worth earning. It's a reminder to others that you are not here just to fill space, you are here to make an impact. Walking away when necessary is one of the most powerful ways to raise your value. Too often, people cling to relationships, situations, or opportunities that no longer serve them out of fear of loss or change. But when you stay in a place where you're undervalued, disrespected, or unappreciated, you only continue to diminish your worth. The moment you recognize that something or someone isn't aligned with your growth, your goals, or your values, walking away becomes an act of self-respect. It's about knowing when to cut ties, when to leave behind what no longer serves you, and when to choose yourself over the comfort of familiarity. This isn't about abandoning people or giving up on everything that's difficult. It's about knowing your limits and recognizing that staying in a negative environment will only drain you. Walking away is often the clearest message you can send about your worth. It shows that you will not tolerate disrespect, mediocrity, or anything that doesn't elevate you. Walking away also frees you up for better opportunities, better relationships, and a better future. When you remove yourself from situations that hold you back, you create space for growth, for new connections, and for people who will recognize and appreciate your true value. By choosing to walk away when necessary, you're not just protecting your peace, you're also raising your value in the eyes of those around you. It sends a clear message that you know your worth, and you won't settle for anything less. You are worth the effort, the respect, and the opportunity, and if someone can't see that, it's their loss. In conclusion, raising your value isn't about making others see your worth. It's about seeing it yourself and refusing to settle for less. When you create scarcity by stepping back, when you stop over-explaining, when you set higher standards, and when you selectively share your energy, you elevate the way the world sees you. Silence speaks louder than words. Distance creates appreciation, and personal growth makes you unstoppable. By respecting yourself, making your presence a privilege, and walking away when necessary, you ensure that your value is not just recognized, but revered. You don't need to chase after validation, approval, or recognition. When you stop giving people unlimited access to you, when you raise your own standards, and when you focus on your personal growth, your value naturally rises. Let them miss you. Let them wonder where you went. Because when they realize your worth, you've already elevated yourself to a level that only the right people and opportunities will appreciate. You are worth more than you think, and it's time to start acting like it.